Good morning, good morning. How's it going, guys? Nice to have you with me this morning. Friday is here. Just on my Yahoo Finance page, taking a look at the headlines, seeing if there's anything interesting that's taking place. One of the areas I like to look at too is the trending tickers, just to see why it's trending, see if there's anything big taking place on those charts. So I thought it would be a nice casual Friday for us to just look at a few things, answer any of your questions. If you have any questions, now would be a good time to bring them up. I'd be happy to answer some of your questions. And I'll make sure to shorten my window here, to shrink my window down. How about that? I will do that now. There we go. There we go. How about them apples? Yeah, so we could start by taking a look at these trending tickers and see why they're trending. SBET, let me see what that is all about. Oh, okay. Big spike up. Look at that. It did nothing for a very long time. Look how many months it did actually nothing, very little. And then it went big spike up. I wouldn't touch something like that personally. Dell. Dell Technologies, what's going on? Why is it so hot right now? I have it reacting from an institutional buying zone back here. And it's been upside ever since. If it was to drop down to the $95 area, I'd be a buyer there. That looks like a good area. Costco, what's Costco up to? Contacted some supply. Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday with institutional supply coming into play on the indexes. And a lot of stocks have the same thing. So with supply in play, we expect price to drop. Okay? We expect price to drop with supply in play. So I wouldn't be a buyer of that just yet. I think it could be a good one, but not just yet. Ba, 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 ba. What are you watching for? In 25 minutes, I see one of your comments here. What is it you're watching for? 25 minutes to go. For what? Personal growth, income, PCE, personal spending, GDP, growth rate. I don't know how much volatility that's going to bring into the market. But yeah, I still have my short USCAD trade. So if it's going to spark a move, it'll have to be that. RGC. For that one. Demand too came down into demand at 252. That's crazy. That's a pretty big move up in the last few weeks from 36 to what? 769. Wow. Ulta is the one that they had a gap up this morning from earnings. It's the one that I think it was Berkshire Hathaway invested in, if I'm not mistaken. How's Berkshire Hathaway doing anyways? Yeah, they responded to demand. And then rallied up, and it's just sitting up at the highs. Not much going on there. S&P still responding from that supply. NASDAQ inside institutional supply on the monthly time frame, and the Dow Jones inside institutional supply on the weekly time frame. So not much has happened with the indexes. And gold, the long trade signal is still good, still active on the 4-hour time frame. Good morning, Alan. I sent you a direct message on Telegram. Make sure you check that, okay? Um, yeah, you must post in the school forum. Anything that's specifically technical information that we only teach at the school, okay? If anything's in the video lesson library, ask it in the school forum, not in the public channels, okay? Otherwise, you're sharing information that's meant for paying subscribers, paying members with the public who are not paying. Okay. Our information's too good, my friend. We can't just share it online for free. Okay. People pay for that information. It took me years to gather that stuff together. Um, so gold, yeah, it's still holding up here. Although I'm very interested to see what's going to happen because of this RSI, right? It's been a slow decline in the RSIs with these peaks. So we'll see what takes place. It could drop. Who knows? All I know is that institutional buying came into play on the weekly time frame, and and it was followed up by more buying on the 4-hour chart, which is what gave us our long signal down here. Okay, so we'll see how it plays out. Uh, da, 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 da. Let's see what silver's up to. Still holding. Reserved supply came into play. So that leads me to suspect that gold may drop. If this supply gets taken out here on the daily time frame, then that'll be a good sign that gold is going to go higher. All right, let's look at NatGas. What's going on with NatGas? Up and down, up and down. Fell short of hitting that supply area on the weekly time frame. Yeah. We had a nice drop and then big bullish pressure, but now we're seeing weakness again. What about copper? Not much going on with copper. I was watching for a long signal here, but so far nothing's really setting up. And look at the Aussie. Dropped, and then look at the basing, and now big red candle. If that red candle closes below this basing candle on the daily time frame, we could see a move begin to form. Otherwise, it could just be creating a basing candle before a move higher next week. We were watching Aussie CAD, and it looks like it's about to drop. It's too bad it didn't produce the signal that we were watching for. Okay, weekly supply and play. It didn't produce the signal on the 1-hour time frame. It was just a bunch of mixed trading here. It's too bad. That could have been a good one for the short. Let's see on the 4-hour. No, it didn't even produce a signal on the 4-hour time frame. It was just a break of that demand zone, and then price continued going lower. Aussie Japanese yen, yeah, it looks like it's starting to make its move now. So it's either that the Aussie's weak, right, or the CAD's strong, or the yen is strong. And for the US CAD to drop, that would mean the CAD being strong. So that is a pretty good sign. And Japanese yen as well to drop. There you go. Yeah, just not getting that speed up on the US CAD just yet. And look at it starting to pick up on the US Swiss and the US dollar Japanese yen, just not picking up on the CAD. Trump posts on China violating tariff agreement just at the time of the weekend. Interesting. Lots of stuff going on out there in the news. Lots of stuff going on out there. Yeah, they're talking about it here. Let's see. CNBC. I always like to take a look at CNBC as well and see what they have to say. Stock futures are little change as investors await more trade news and fresh inflation data. Yeah, so it looks like today we got core PCE price index, GDP growth rate for Canada. So yeah, this could really put things into motion. It looks like, when looking at the US dollar Japanese yen, it looks like already weakness is kicking in. And US Swiss looks like weakness is starting to kick in. All right, finally starting to see a little bit more weakness here. It's been holding this area up here, just brutal. Just brutal, but that's okay. We wait and see. Yeah, so this could trigger a move for sure. U.S.-China talks a bit stalled and need Trump and Xi Jinping to weigh in. Treasury Secretary Bissent says. Costco tops earnings and revenue estimates. Yeah, but remember what I was saying. We are in supply. So, yeah, and they come up with good earnings. Oh boy. Mixed results here, which caused the big drop. So that supply was from this big area of selling was from the reaction from earnings here back in March. And now we're back up there. So now good earnings in supply. I don't know. I wouldn't want to touch that. So we'll see how this plays out. Tonight, I'm going to be really busy. I got a pool tournament to play in. The one that I played in last year that we came in first place, so I ended up winning a spot to go to Vegas. Remember that one? Yeah, so my team won a spot for the regionals, which is what I'm going to be playing tonight, starting tonight. I got to drive all the way down to the city, which is going to take about an hour and a half or so to play maybe one match, and then I'm going to come home, and then I got to go back in the morning if we do well tonight. It's going to be a lot. And if we do well tomorrow, then I got to go back on Sunday and play all day as well. It's a bit much. It's a bit much. Kind of not looking forward to it. It'll be fun. I like hanging out with my team and stuff, but it kind of feels like work after a while. I like to go play pool, but I'm not really down to hang out at a pool hall for a whole day and play pool. You know what I mean? When it's like super competitive, I don't know. I'm just not down for that. It's not my thing. Inside the scramble to keep female. Okay. So, oh, Netflix. What's going on with Netflix? That's last time I checked. That one was a big mover. Yeah, creating demand on the monthly time frame. I like that. If it comes back underneath $1,000, that could be a good area to buy. But that one's just been a big mover, hasn't it? Gap shares plummet as retailer says tariffs could cost between 100 million and 150 million. Gap. Ooh. And how's their stock? Not too bad. The stock's holding up pretty well. It's not a chart I'd like to trade personally, but it looks like it's doing pretty well. Here's what impressed us most about Costco's earnings. Yeah, more positive articles for Costco as it's sitting inside of a supply zone. Jim Cramer says this is the easiest way for the market to get out of its tariff nightmare. Have you guys seen the blog posts I've made about Trump? You should take a look at this one. Smart Money, Dumb Power, What Trump's Crypto Scandal Teaches Us About Market Psychology. You should read that article. And the one below it too, The Rule of Law. I don't know if you've read that, but it's pretty disheartening to hear what's going on with Trump. I had my sneaky suspicions that, things might not be so good with him coming back into power. I just had some thoughts about the subject, and I was really hoping to God that I was going to be wrong, but from what I'm seeing so far, I may not be wrong. Bitcoin, let's see. So it came into the daily area of demand here. Now it's coming for a deeper test. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, look at that. So we have institutional supply that came into play here. Yeah. Selling, short-term selling is taking place at this higher time frame buying zone. So we could see a push to the downside and break through the zone here. Otherwise, if they're going to start buying again, this area here needs to be taken out. That would be the key area I'd be watching for. Okay, it could still hold. There's a chance that it could still hold, but we'll see. Yeah. Any questions you guys had that are not like specific technical questions that we teach at the school? Just general questions. Yeah, Alan, I sent you a link on your DM on Telegram with a link to the post that I made for you. All I need is you to post those pictures that you posted on Telegram, post it in the school forum so I can see the specifics of what you were asking. No questions? No generalized questions? US dollar, Japanese yen, still a little bit weak. US Swiss. All right, we'll see what happens in 8 minutes. Pound. Yeah, we had that reaction off of the that area there. Rally, drop at 40. Huh. This could be about to take off here. If this closes bullish, this might be a good 3.2 to 1 risk to reward trade. Yeah. How's that pound Aussie? Yeah, it's too bad it never came all the way down here. This is what we were watching for. We were watching for price to come all the way down here for the long trade. But it just fell short. So short. So close. Let's look at the Aussie. Still holding up there. Aussie Kiwi. Fell short of hitting that supply on the weekly. Pretty interesting. CAD Yen. Not much going on here. Euro. Yeah. We need some serious movement to kick in here. Too much consolidating, too much nothing. For a whole month, we've been just sitting within this range, within this area of supply here on the monthly time frame. Yeah. Looks like we're gonna get that push up. Good chance. Pound CAD. Look at the 4-hour chart on pound CAD. Look at that. When you see those type of candles, pound yen. Wow. Look how long on the monthly time frame, doing nothing. You know, we are hitting institutional supply here. So that was the end of that momentum to the upside. Now it's, do we see a major drop from there? It's similar to the US dollar Japanese yen. We've also contacted a major area of supply here, which tells us that we're likely going to see a drop as well. So one of the reasons why I'm in short the US CAD is because of all these telltale signs, right? When we're looking at the US dollar Japanese yen, we're trying to time the markets, right? They say you can't time the markets. Okay. So that's what we're doing here, is we're timing the markets. You know, you have major supply coming into play on the 6-month time frame, so that's going to take some time for them to offload positions, which is exactly what they did. They offloaded positions, right? You can see it here in the green. This is one of the reasons why I drew these clouds, is so that you could see later on what they were doing. They were accumulating. Okay. You see what happened at the top here? This is when institutional supply got contacted, okay? This is a 6-month supply zone. Got contacted up there. You see how magically it turns from red, from green to red. Focus on longs to shorts, okay? That's not a coincidence. It's because institutions rallied price into a supply area. Supply zones are used to offload long positions and accumulate short positions. All right, so this is why we suspect that price is going to drop here. And so when you look at the CFTC data, you can see that's exactly what they did. This is why these clouds represent. I wanted a physical representation on the charts of the positions. When they were aggressive, when they were taking profits, when they were accumulating. I wanted to be able to see that on the charts. Okay, so that's what we're doing here, is we're timing the markets. So when you look at the monthly time frame, you can see this is where 6-month area was contacted, and it was still, the pressure to the upside was very aggressive. So we don't want to be selling at that point because it's very aggressive. If we're going to time this drop, we have to wait for the market momentum to shift. So on the second high here, that's when we got the RSI of 60. So what do we know to be true about that? Is that likely we're going to see price surpass the previous low and head lower. So this is our monthly target here, 131.77. Okay, so we are expecting a continued move to the downside here. So that's on the monthly time frame. So that could take multiple months for that to happen, right? So if you want to time this move, you got to go down one more time frame to see what's taking place here. And on the weekly time frame, we contacted this area several times. This was a weekly demand zone. Okay, so we're waiting for this to show weakness. On this first test, RSI was very weak. On the second test, it's still very weak. So now we're waiting to see weakness on the daily time frame. And on the daily time frame, there was no specific supply areas here that was responded to. So we're just watching this dynamic play out here and waiting for weakness. But this descending trend line seems to kind of been holding lately. All right, so we're about to get some data coming out. There's some weakness on the USCAD. There we go. Come on, weakness. Keep it coming. Any numbers yet? I don't have any numbers yet. You guys have any numbers yet? Oh, there we go. Positive for the CAD. So that's dropping. Personal income month over month was positive for the US dollar. Core PCE. Previous 2.7, now it's 2.5. Well, we're getting the move, boys and girls. This is exactly what we were expecting. Beautiful. Beautiful. And my bulletproof target just a little bit lower. I think I have it on my other chart here. Yeah. Bulletproof target just a little bit lower. Oh, what just happened here? That's not what I wanted. All right. Bulletproof target. So now there's going to be a lot of back and forth with price because retail traders are trading the heck out of this right now. They're trading the data release. GDP growth, yeah, positive. So there could be a rally that's coming. Bottom line is, though, and I've mentioned this before, what's going to take place after a data release is exactly what was planned to take place based on the dynamics of what's taking place on the charts. Okay? There's never a build-up. The banks don't ever build something about to happen and then data comes out and then it totally reverses shape or totally reverses direction. I've never seen that. Never seen that. Okay. There's always a buildup, for price to go in a specific direction. And when the data comes out, there might be some ups and downs or even a reversal temporarily. But eventually, when you go back to the chart, if it was meant to go down because that was the setup, then it's going to go down. Consumer spending is going to be better than expected. You called that beforehand, yeah? Personal spending was 0.7 previous, and now it's 0.2. Let me see that. Let me go into that. Consumer spending on goods and services in the United States economy is measured by personal consumption expenditures. It contributes to over 2/3 of domestic final spending. Okay. A higher than expected figure should be seen as positive or bullish for the US dollar, while a lower than expected figure should be seen as negative. So the number that came out was less. So how was that seen as bullish? Right here. It was 0.7. It's down 0.2. That's negative. Right? Am I misunderstanding something? The PCE was 2.7. It's down 2.5. Personal income is up from 0.7 to 0.8. Yeah. Let's see the dollar. Dollar's been making some funny moves, man. Funny moves lately. But the last area that was contacted, oh, that's not what I wanted. The last area that was contacted on the dollar was supply. And these two contacts of demand, both very weak on the RSI. When you look at the RSI, the strength is very weak. What else I wanted to look at? I want to look at something specific. Oh yeah. CFTC data for the dollar. Accumulation of shorts has been what they've been doing lately. Okay, been aggressive. Shorts are above their 13-period average, while longs are below and longs are cooled off. So shorts have been what the banks have been focused on lately. Okay. And longs have been what they've been focused on the euro. Longs have been what they've been focused on the pound. A distribution of shorts is what they've been focused on the Aussie. Distribution of longs, what they've been focused on gold. And accumulation of shorts is what they've been focused on the US dollar, Japanese yen, and USCAD. Lately, they were accumulating longs. Shorts haven't been, but this accumulation of longs, let's keep things into perspective here. So, if we look at this block of data here, let me just scroll up so you can see above my window here. If you look at this block of positionings reaching 219, that was July 30, 2024, right? July 30, 2024. So that was here, okay? So you see the deep green, all right? Now, if you take a look from there, they took profits, okay? Then they started accumulating again up to 210, okay? They didn't get as much as they did prior. And this is what we got here. Now they took profits again, and then they added again the last couple weeks, right? And this is what we got here, this small little rally. So as you can see, there isn't a build up for a larger position. It was build up in long positions to slowly decrease their overall positioning. All right. This is cycles that we see them do very often. So the last time we saw them accumulating, but that is represented by this rally up here in price, the short-term rally. Okay. But overall, what's happening here is a major sell-off in positions from those highs. So, yeah. So we'll see. What we need to see in the next coming weeks' data is we need to see them distributing their long positions, and depending on how far they want to drop price, if that's what they're going to indeed do is drop price, which is what I'm suspecting they will do, we need to see them start adding into their short positions, because shorts right now are cooled off, not even focusing on them. Okay, but we're getting that move to the downside now, which is nice to see. Beautiful. Now I've placed my targets a little bit further down. So I have a bulletproof target here, which when it's hit, the trade is for free. I have no risk anymore. And then I have a further target down here. This is the likely target, I think, down here. Okay. Spam. They were not accumulating, they were holding. Are you talking about USCAD? Because they were reducing positions here. You can see long positions being reduced from 210 down to 87. So that's distributing. That's offloading a long position. While shorts did nothing. They remained very cooled off. Oh, the dollar. Yeah. Well, they had 22,000. They reduced them to 18. Remember, a dollar is never large numbers like the other ones. A maximum size shorts is 43. You know what I mean? Like you look at the euro, 271,000. It's a big difference between the index and dollar, the numbers. Okay, well, anyways, price is moving down. This is exactly what we wanted. I got into this trade, I don't know, when did I get into this trade? A few days ago. Let me see, Thursday? Yesterday? A few days ago. Yesterday? It was just yesterday? When you're holding on to a position and you're watching it and watching it and watching it, I guess it seems longer than it actually is. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah. Well, anyways, yeah, it's working out pretty good. So, very, very good. Happy about that. We'll just wait and see if it wants to continue. Once that bulletproof target is hit, then I'm a happy camper. Okay. All right. Well, I held you guys through. I wanted to see the result of this data. I hope today was helpful to you guys. I appreciate you guys joining me in the mornings where we take a look at the markets. It was a little bit longer session today, but it was nice to chat with you guys and go through these markets together. In about 15 minutes, I'm going to go and we're going to do a level 3 session with members where we're going to do a deep dive into the markets, look at the dynamics of what's taking place, and see if there's any trading opportunities. All right, folks. Good stuff. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you for joining again. And I did well with the window today, didn't I? I did a good job with the window. I made sure to shrink it for you guys. Well, that's it. You take care. Have a good one. So long.